You'd still be scared of an ostrich or a cassowary?
I mean, I'd stay inside, but
An emu?
it wouldn't be like an existential terror.
I mean, if you went outside the front door, turned to your right, and there was an emu.
Yeah, but like legitimate threats aren't Halloween scary. There's no horror movies about like
The birds?
traffic act. Well, like Godzilla isn't a Halloween movie. It's just a monster movie. Not even a monster movie. It's a kaiju film.
Dun, 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 dun. It's kaiju.
That's French for pebble.
Kaiju.
Kaiju, not. It's Japanese for big old monster, probably.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I've always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you.
Thank you for joining our
Lady.
Fine Art Podcast. Please won't you my
Well, it's another beautiful day in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
And it's a beautiful day in our neighborhood.
It sure is.
They're only going to get less beautiful from here on out.
Yeah, it's going to get real cold.
I mean, winter can be beautiful.
Never, not once has there been a beautiful winter morning. Anyone that tells you otherwise,
Is lying to you.
trying to sell postcards.
Yeah.
This is episode 1482. So Mr. Rogers arrives at his house with some photographs.
Yeah, kind of looked like an iPad when it was sitting on the
It wasn't.
chair. It clearly was not. Could not possibly have been.
Photos of paintings of things.
And we're watching video of photos of paintings of things.
And you're listening to a podcast of people who watched, I don't know.
Podcast. You're listening to a recording of our words. You're listening to a copy of a file of a recording of our words, of our thoughts, of our vision, of a video, of a print, of a photo, of a painting.
And you're experiencing your thoughts of our sounds, of our... Never mind. Let's just quit. Well,
It's all just... So imagine...
he's got a painting of a boy, and a painting of a field, and a painting of an abstract thing.
Yeah, we're going to the art gallery today.
That's true.
And good news, I have written names for every painting.
Yeah, I've written down a lot of stuff. There's a lot of note taking here.
Yeah. So the three he has paintings of is what I have called Sad Boy,
Sad Boy, it's
which is by Sargent.
Yep.
An American painter.
Mr. Rogers calls it Painting of a Boy.
I call it Sad Boy because the boy is sad. We've got what I've called Some Fields by Van Gogh.
Who Mr. Rogers describes as a Dutchman.
Yeah. And then what I have described as Fantasia 2000 by Miro.
A Spaniard.
A
As
Spaniard, yes.
Mr. Rogers was
A Spanish painter.
clear to state the country of origin of all of
People
these
from
artists.
all over paint. I'm
Mhm.
not super happy with my titling of Fantasia 2000. But maybe UPA is more of the...
Maybe.
Or it just looks like a Miro painting if you're real familiar with his work. I wasn't. But it's kind of cool.
Mr. Rogers says we're going to go to an art museum, but let me brief you first. Here's some of the paintings we're going to see, just so you aren't shocked.
Yeah. He really eases us into this
He's
whole
like,
thing.
listen, things are going to be pretty wild.
There's going to be a lot of paintings. We're going to move pretty quick.
I won't be allowed to touch them.
Neither will
You
you.
won't be capable of touching them. But we need to look and listen carefully. He sings that song again.
Yeah, he
and I'm
sings,
like,
like,
are you going to sing? Yeah.
One
then he
verse
just-
of that song.
Yeah, it's the short version, I
Short
guess.
version. This, I feel like we've done this song 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah.
This is the one where I started to feel patronized. Like, alright, I get it.
But he spins it on his head because what are you going to listen to at the art gallery?
Oh, people
Your-
talking
your
about
thoughts.
the paintings.
You're listening to your own thoughts about
Right.
the paintings.
Well, I'm excited to go on this virtual field trip to the art gallery with you
with Mr. Rogers.
and Mr. Rogers.
Well, let's hop on the crane shot
Yeah.
and travel to the land of art gallery.
Which exists on the diorama.
Hmm.
I was impressed.
I missed that.
Oh yeah, no, way off
I
on
saw
the
a
far
bush.
edge.
I saw a bush that looked like a chicken.
Oh, so you got distracted by that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very Stephen on a field trip, I feel like. I saw a bush what looked like a chicken.
Well, here we are at the art gallery.
Here we are at the art gallery.
This is going out of order a bit, but when Mr. Rogers walks into one of the rooms in the art gallery, he says, "Oh, looks like chickens or something." And I really related to him because that's what happened to me during the crane shot.
Well, there you go. They studiously avoid all the nudes in this art gallery tour.
Well, Bay Hudson, who is our guide,
Yeah.
knows that place like her second home, and so she was
is,
careful to weave in and out.
let me tell you, her name is Bay Hudson. Every single time Mr. Rogers calls her Bay, it is hilarious
Yeah,
to
that's
me.
true.
Every single time. All three of them.
She kind of looks like Lily Tomlin.
Yeah,
I
I can
thought-
see that.
Got kind of a triangular face with like
Tomlin-esque.
squinty eyes and big curly hair when she smiles.
Yeah.
I mean, squinty eyes when she smiles, big curly hair regardless of her emotion.
Yeah.
So we look at a lot of different paintings,
Yeah.
and Mr. Rogers has some very very shallow things to say, and
Yes.
I found that a welcome
Oh,
critique
you appreciate
because
it
I don't
how-
like to go
how
that much
superficial
deeper
they
than
are.
Mr. Rogers does.
Yeah. But now is that a result of your history in the art history field, or
I don't know. I think the art world takes itself too seriously
Yeah.
sometimes, but
and your studies have only reinforced that?
sure.
Yeah, he is kind of very straightforward about, like, we get to the first painting, which I have entitled A Farm. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
it
painting
was
of a farm
it was painted by Edward Hicks.
by Edward Hicks. Apparently it's the farm he grew up on.
Okay.
And that's Mr. Rogers is just sort of like, oh, so he just sort of wanted to remember this, so he painted it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a very, like, straightforward and probably accurate statement.
Next, we're looking at a painting of seals.
I want to say Edward Hicks is real squarish animals.
But for now, we'll keep talking about Edward Hicks.
His cows and sheep are very rectangular.
You know
Pigs
what?
are very round.
Cows and sheep are very rectangular.
That's true.
As animals go, they are one of the most rectangular.
But I feel like he leaned a little harder on the rectangular button.
It was kind of the farm seemed like kind of a flattened perspective.
Yeah, I kind of like that. That's, like I said, it reminded me sort of a Busytown book, but more.
Now can we move on to
shaded.
the seals?
Yeah, now let's move on to what I have entitled Cool Seals, Neat Wave, Fun Rock.
Yeah, it was. There's nothing particularly like impossible in this painting, but it looked kind of fantastic.
I just really like this painting.
Yeah, this is a good.
The seals are neat. The rock like arches in a cool way, and the way the light goes through the wave at the top.
Yeah,
I
totally.
just like that effect. There's penguins in there too that I don't think even get mentioned, but I'm pretty sure there were penguins.
Okay. Mr. Rogers says that every time he looks at this painting, which sounds like he comes here regularly to look at this painting in
I
particular.
mean, he sure seems to know a lot about art, relatively speaking.
He sees new seals that he'd never seen before.
Yeah,
This is just a lot of
a whole lot of seals.
hours and replay value out of this.
The cameraman kind of only shows us the same handful of seals over and over
Like
again.
if I'm paying $60 for a painting, I expect
You want replay value?
I want like 60 hours of painting look at time.
That's my problem is with painting reviews these days is they never tell you how long it will take to look at the painting. Yeah, and I feel like professional painting reviewers now, because they're reviewing so many paintings, they're starting to really favor like short painting look at experiences.
Yeah, like
Not
that's
a-
why all these things that's just like it's painted black get such good
Yeah.
reviews.
Yeah.
But like I like looking at paintings. I don't want to pay $60 and have a painting that I can look at for like 15 minutes and then I'm done with it.
And like maybe in 5 years you come back and look at it for another 15 minutes.
For those of you who are just confused as to why we're talking at length in something that seems like a skit, we're making fun of people complaining about price versus gameplay time in video games.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's pretty dumb.
Yeah, it's a skit that lasted longer than I expected. I'm glad you're all still listening.
Yeah. Although, by the nature of the skit, you know it's great bang for your buck. Where's Waldo?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a lot of bang per buck.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's got side quests in a Where's Waldo painting.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it. Where's Waldo? Officially the best paintings. Congratulations, Mark. So yeah, Cool Seals, Neat Wave, Fun Rock, check mark, good painting.
Yep.
Now we go and take a look at Sad Boy, the big version.
The big version. We found the one. Mr. Rogers has the little version.
Yeah.
But this is the real one.
Sad Boy Mini. This is Sad Boy Macro.
Uh,
Sad Boy grew up to become a director of this very museum.
it's true.
His name was Homer St. Gaudens. Yeah.
He was very bored in the painting because
He was the son of a famous sculptor of some note.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have in my notes here the word slow ball questions. Oh, that was because Mr. Rogers holds up his three, the abstract one. Abstract one,
paintings.
the sad boy one, and the field. And he says, now which of these three matches the painting on the wall? I'm like, Mr. Rogers.
Even for children. There's a lot of hey, can you remember which of these very different paintings you saw a couple seconds ago or currently?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like Mr. Rogers, he's given us a lot of questions that we couldn't possibly
fail. Which, nobody is checking your work. You can make the questions
everybody's getting a passing grade in Mr. Rogers' class.
Yeah, exactly. That's the Harriet E. Cow philosophy of no contest somebody might not be good at.
Then we looked at a Renoir.
Yeah, a Renoir specifically requested by Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, he's like, let's go look at the girl in the pink dress.
Yeah, girl in a field, I call it.
Petite fille en rose.
Yep, little girl in pink.
Those of you who aren't well studied in your art history may know Renoir as the... I tried to verify this by looking it up. I don't know if it's true, though. I think he's the guy that painted the image that's used on the French Creams Dare Cookies box.
Oh, probably. That looks like a Renoir.
Yeah. Maybe it's just someone in the same style, but...
I feel like Renoir is a more accessible reference than the box on Dare French Cream Cookies.
You are so right, because I don't know if they've discontinued them or if our Safeway and Superstore have just...
they might be a Canadian brand.
Stopped ordering them.
Oh, you just can't get them anymore?
I cannot get them. They were a
sorry
staple of my lunchtime, and now I can't. They're selling other Dare cookies.
Also, I think isn't Renoir the painter that Animal really wanted to see in one version of the song Happiness Hotel from the film The Great Muppet Caper?
Yes, in one version he wants to see a Renoir, in the other version he wants to see Manet, I believe.
Right. I don't remember which is... I think one must be the soundtrack version and one must be the...
There's your
version in film.
Great Muppet trivia for the day.
So from actually also this Renoir painting just reminded me of Grandma Plant. I think because it was pink,
probably,
and
she was a very pink lady.
She was not to be confused with the drink, a pink lady, which she was not. She was a real live person.
Bay Judson, our guide through the museum.
Yep.
I feel like she was getting concerned that Mr. Rogers was so close to touching it that it may appear on camera that he was touching it.
Yeah.
And she's like, Mr. Rogers, I just thank you so much that you don't touch the paintings, because that's a rule that we have. And I just want to be so clear to all these children that though your fingers are close, you are not touching it.
Yeah. I guess you don't put paintings behind glass. It seems like you should.
No, like you just trust.
Yeah, art museums are truly the last bastion of
trusting people,
trust of civilization in the world.
Yeah, it's true. No,
art museums live and die by the social contract.
I went to an art museum two in Scotland and one in England. And I don't know if any of them had any paintings that I could say that's that painting.
Right, nothing huge.
But I think that they did have paintings that I was like, I recognize that, but I don't know what it's called. But I could have licked it if I wanted to. I would have gotten kicked out immediately. Yeah. And that's what stopped me from doing it.
That's why art theft is such a...
Here's a fun fact about art galleries. They make you hold your backpack in your hand so you don't spin around and knock all the paintings off the wall.
They're thinking, I would hate to be the guy who that rule is named after.
Backpack Bo.
Backpack Bo? You think that's his name?
Maybe it's Backpack Bay. and then she's
Oh, wow. This is her penance.
Yeah, exactly, for all the destruction she caused.
So now we look at a pair of paintings by the same author, Child Hassan.
I didn't take any notes about these. So they
Well,
must not- I was probably researching Dare cookies.
I have titled them Neat Cliff because it's a neat cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cliffs of Dovery or like
Mhm.
maritime Canada look to it. And the other one, which I really liked, which I have entitled Cheers theme song, because it kind of looks like the beginning of the Cheers theme song.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like a city street and it's sort of Victorian and carriages and the like. And I guess the point of this little stop is this guy painted two paintings, but they look kind of different, don't they?
Yeah, you don't have to paint the same thing.
Yeah. Or I think even like the style had changed somewhat. I like the city more than I like the cliff.
Andrew, I'm getting just as antsy as I am in an art museum when I want to move on.
All right, well, let's move on to The Picnic by Maurice Prendergast.
I don't remember this one either, Andrew. I want to get to the one with the moose.
This one was it was just some people standing in front of trees. It was all painted it looked like a child. I don't want to say it looked like a child could paint it. It was in a style that resembles the way a child paints.
It was a picnic?
Yeah.
But there were no naked picnickers.
No.
Artists like those.
No. This was I think more modern. It was very big, and Mr. Rogers did a little skit with it where he pretended he was at the picnic.
I totally missed all of this.
Oh, you missed it? It's great because he's like, "Oh, hello, are you having the egg salad or tuna fish?"
See, now, Mr. Rogers is a guy I want to go to an art museum with.
Because he's going to do little skits about he's going to make you, like, really slow down.
Like, he really rolls with his first impression about what he likes about the painting. Like, I'm sure that Bae Judson was about to say, now, this is a commentary on the French aristocracy. And, like, before she got those words out, he just marches in and says, this looks like a moose.
I feel like if you go to the art museum, though, with Mr. Rogers, he's really going to make you, like, slow down.
That's true.
At you know how when we go to the museum with Dad and he's always lagging behind because he reads every one of the plaques?
And I don't read none of the plaques.
I feel like that's Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers is going to read all the little plaques and cards and...
Yeah. Well...
And probably, like, ask you questions about how they make you feel. I think he's going to make you engage more than you maybe want to because we're still disaffected millennials, all detached from our emotions and stuff.
Right.
Now comes the
moose.
Yeah, the moose one.
The Miro.
It's Miro. Yeah, it's got some crazy shapes in there.
The shapes that they see include moose, helicopter,
and just a big circle.
Yeah. I saw a spooky ghost.
I just saw a bunch of faces and thought, I wonder if this is sideways. I know it's not, but I feel like some of the shapes might have meant more to me if they were sideways. Bae at one point, sort of describing the painting, says there's a lot of interesting shapes in here. If you look over here, there's sort of a big circle inside of another big circle. And I have in my notes, the big circle is the least interesting shape in this painting. Circles are a dime a dozen, and this is full of some crazy blobby things in different colors. And they all sort of look like weird faces.
You're walking right past the circle shelves and straight to the blobby aisle.
Look, if I want a circle, I've got a compass somewhere. Or just a cup. You just put a cup on a piece of paper, you can draw a circle. There's your Andrew Plant, Mr. Rogers art fact of the day. Trace a cup, get a circle. Another thing you can do is if you just go around it enough times, the line sort of blurs and you get a sketchy circle, but it looks...
Right, because your eyes decide only to see the circular parts of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Art.
Mr.
Rogers is... do you want to go through every single painting?
I mean, we're almost done, because Here comes your favorite, Crazy Birds by question mark.
Looks like chickens or something.
Yeah, it does. Kind of reminds me of a Nude Descending a Staircase, which is not by Picasso, but recently I said it was, possibly on the internet.
Andrew, everything reminds you of Nude Descending a Staircase.
What can I say? I love my indistinguishable nudity. Give me some rectangles, whatever. Give me some rectangles, tell me it's a naked lady. Sure. Tell me she's going down some stairs, and I am there for it.
Add some blobby things, and you're on the floor smiling.
Yep. SOTFS. Still on the floor, smiling.
Right.
I forgot where the verb was. In that, I guess they're all verbs mostly.
After this, Mr. Rogers is like, these paintings are great and all, but do you have like bathrooms and kitchens? And then we get to tour
the bathrooms in the kitchen.
The museum's bathrooms and kitchens.
The most thorough art gallery tour you will ever get.
Thanks to Mr. Rogers. And
his
Bay Judson just goes right along with it. I rewound to see which bathroom they went in, but there was no gendered symbol. So,
very modern bathroom.
I don't know if it's that modern. Every home I've ever grown up in has had unisex bathrooms.
Whoa. Every home. Think about it. Every home is like the office Ally McBeal worked at? Was that the one? She was a lawyer? You don't know.
What are you talking about?
There was a TV show about a very modern law firm, and they had unisex bathrooms for drama purposes. The guy who Mr. Bean life he ruins in the first Mr. Bean movie was on that show. That movie was also about art.
It also sucked.
It wasn't good. Like, its best parts were just recycled Mr. Bean bits. If you want a good Mr. Bean movie, I recommend Mr. Bean's Vacation.
Holiday.
So yeah, the bathrooms in the kitchen.
Yeah, they've got an industrial kitchen because they've got.
It's not the most
cafeteria.
I don't know what his aim was with this part of the tour. Like, we could looked at 2 or 3 more paintings in the time that he says, "Yeah, there's bathrooms in museums, guys."
Maybe this was Bay Judson's doing. Maybe before they started shooting, Fred Rogers was like, "What do you want kids to know about museums?" And she's just remembering the traumatizing events of yesterday and said, "Well, I want all the children to know that we do have a bathroom here."
You think they had a real, unfortunate incident when they got that, what's that piece of found art? The urinal that somebody signed?
Right, yeah. Oh, I think I saw that one.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Ooh la la.
I don't know.
Maybe it was a different piece of found art.
No, I think I saw that one.
Fun thing about that piece of art is if you just find the serial number or part number on it, you could make your own.
Yeah,
sign your own name to it.
That's
a whole different kind of statement. We'll talk more about that kind of art later, I think.
Oh, maybe.
Now, we head back to Mr. Rogers' house, and thereupon after, the land of make-believe.
Yeah, before we go there, Mr. Rogers debriefs us.
Oh, yeah.
He says that gallery is really big. I don't know if you got that impression from watching it at home. Did you get that impression that it was very big?
Yeah, I did get that impression.
I also got that impression.
I've been to a much smaller art gallery, and even it turned out to be bigger than I thought it was. So I imagine this one was enormous.
Yeah, and
high ceilings.
Mr. Rogers was lost.
Yeah.
If he didn't have Bay Judson there, he never would have left.
Judson is Bay. Kind of wanted just a supercut of him saying Bay.
Might be beyond what I have time for.
Fair enough.
Well, let's hop on the trolley and head to the land of make-believe.
I hope we don't run into too much construction.
I hope not, too. Oh, look at this beautiful scenery.
Yeah.
It looks like Van Gogh. Oh, whoa. Now there's just a big wall. I can't see any scenery.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
I hope they painted stripes on the other side. That'd be something to look at least.
Well, here we are on the land of make-believe.
And they have painted stripes on the other side.
The trolley track has
a guardrail up.
A guardrail to protect art judges from trolley
accidents.
As Lady Aberlin and the trolley have like a 5-minute discussion about.
Yeah.
Half of which is musical dings.
Or just to stop people putting things on top of the trolley track.
Yeah, after that whole
we have established happens a lot.
Hummingbird dolphin.
But the guardrail is still low enough that the trolley can see over it. So you put a dolphin on top of there, the trolley's just going to push it.
Well, if it's too high that the trolley can't see over it, then we're giving him a handicap with his art contest.
That's true. What they should have done is gone for big windows or just a perspex wall.
So that he can still see what he's painting.
Exactly.
Or drawing.
Lady Aberlin is working on her painting of the town.
Yeah, she's got all the rough layout work done. Now she's adding some color.
She's chosen to work in pastels on blue paper, which is an interesting choice.
Yeah, I think it's a good start.
I guess you could go with darker canvas when you go in pastels.
Yeah.
Very dark blue though.
But then you don't have to work as hard to color everything in.
But everything's going to be kind of bluey.
Lady Elaine pops out.
Lady Elaine pops up from behind the painting and offers to buy it for a 10.
And we get to see what the currency of make-believe looks like.
And it is pieces of plywood.
Yeah,
Painted,
pieces of wood.
painted
I don't know if you
bills.
would. I don't know if this is more like a bill or more like a coin, because it is like
it's a half an inch thick.
it's a centimeter thick. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
good metric. I appreciate that.
it's painted green and it has shiny star stickers on it and the number 10 in the middle.
Yeah, and it's a 10.
She wants to offer Lady Aberlin a
10.
10 in exchange for her art.
Which isn't even finished yet. So I don't know if she's commissioning it or if she's buying it as is. If she's
Yeah.
smart, she'll wait for her to finish. If she's really smart, she'd wait for her to finish before she sells it.
Yeah, it's clear that Lady Elaine, in declaring that she would be the winner, was not saying that out of any confidence in her own
No.
artistic abilities, because she's just
She clearly has none
no. She wants to buy
whatsoever.
Lady Aberlin's,
Lady Aberlin is having none of it.
and Mr. McFeely shows up.
Mr. McFeely shows up with a huge mail.
He has this envelope,
Yeah.
and Lady Elaine is thinking that maybe it's art that's for her or a prize.
Lady Elaine is pretty sure that it's probably for the king,
Oh,
and she would like to see it, please.
right, yes.
Because
She's very nosy.
Lady Elaine is very
No
very
pun
nosy,
intended.
specifically with regards to King Friday,
Mhm.
because it turns out to actually be Mr. McFeely says, "Well, no, it's not for you. You can't just look at it." And
Mhm.
as he's saying this, Lady Aberlin sort of like moves in and sort of grabs hold of it to read it herself, and she's like, "Oh no, this is for X the Owl," as it says on this giant envelope in big letters.
Right, and then after chatting for a bit with the ladies, Mr. McFeely is like, well, I guess I'd better go find X the Owl, which he has not checked the tree where X the Owl is always.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, I gotta deliver the mail, because that's my job.
Yeah. Also, Lady Elaine loses all interest in what's inside this mail as soon as she finds out it's for X the Owl and not King Friday.
So then we follow Mr. McFeely over to the tree,
Yeah.
where we see X and Henrietta, who we haven't seen in a few weeks.
No. And longer than that in real time.
No,
we haven't
it's
seen her
been like
since the
20
last jump.
years.
Yeah, we haven't seen her in 20 years. Let me tell you, not much has changed.
I think
For old
Henrietta Pussycat's accent has changed a bit.
Oh.
She's still saying meow in every other word,
Mm.
but I feel like her voice is a little closer to Daniel Tiger now than it used to be.
The accepted cat voice.
Yes.
They're both from Catistan.
Um,
So they open up X's big old mail.
right, and you see like the printing, and it's like in the elementary school, like where the lines are
Yeah.
divided top and bottom, with like the lowercase letters reaching the first line and the uppercase letters reaching the second line. And I'm like, who writes like this? And then it scrolls down to the bottom, and it's signed Big Bird.
Big Bird. It
I'm like-
wasn't a huge envelope because it was so we could see it. It was because Big Bird is a big bird.
And he has big envelopes. And
He writes big letters, and he's like, what, 3 years old? What's Big Bird's canonical age?
I don't know.
I feel like he's 3-ish.
Maybe.
Does he seem too like literate for a 3-year-old though?
Maybe. He definitely writes more like a 6 or 7 year old.
Well, it was Big Bird, canonically a child, and also friends with X the Owl.
Yeah, this got me by surprise. I knew Big Bird was coming, but I like did a double take when it was from Big Bird.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting him to show up.
yeah. X the Owl says he is friends with Big Bird and all birds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Big Bird is like a big friend.
Yeah,
because
his
he's
biggest
a big
friend.
bird. Yeah,
because he's a big. Also, Big Bird is real excited about this Land of Make Believe art contest,
and well, he should be, because he illustrated a picture of his own face at the bottom of
and
the.
it is phenomenal.
It's pretty good. Yeah, he does a good self portrait at the very least. But he also doesn't know this town as well as his competitors.
That's true.
If he plans to enter.
Yeah, but he does. But I think sounds like he plans to enter. I think he's already even drawn up his painting. What are the odds that Big Bird has actually just painted Sesame Street?
Misunderstand. Why? Maybe the rules allow for that. It says your neighborhood.
Maybe he'll get in on a technicality.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's just misunderstood that feels like a very Big Bird thing to do. Misunderstand the prompt.
Yeah.
This is the bird who thought the alphabet was a long word one time.
And was able to pronounce it.
Yeah,
I would say that's...
How did he learn?
I would say that's beyond a 3-year-old.
How did Big Bird learn what all the letters mean without ever encountering the alphabet?
How long did we have the letters before we came up with alphabetical order?
I mean, that is an interesting question.
I mean, some of it's based on the Greek alphabet.
Yeah.
But not all
But I
of
think
it.
the answer is since long before Big Bird learned how to read.
Right.
Anyways, yeah, Big Bird's coming.
He sure is.
X the Owl.
can't wait.
X the Owl says he's friends with Big Bird, but his reaction suggests that he's very excited to see him.
No, more like a celebrity.
Yeah. He's very excited that famous Big Bird is coming.
And that doesn't sit well with Henrietta Pussycat.
Henrietta Pussycat.
Insecure and jealous as always.
Yeah.
Is now afraid that a big bird is going to be replacing her role as the only cat in town.
Yeah. Yeah, or as X the Owl's best friend.
Yeah, that's what she's really concerned about.
Which, I mean, he's never going to move into her house. That's for
No.
sure. Yeah, so Henrietta is on this old track again.
And speaking of Henrietta's house, it's no wonder that all of the children of the land of make-believe go to school in someplace else, because the schoolhouse is currently being occupied by a cat who just lives there and occupies the entire thing.
Yeah.
Her house is called Henrietta's Schoolhouse.
Right. Do you think she's like trying to start her own school but doesn't get any students?
Doesn't get any students because she's so insecure.
Yeah.
And constantly
Or
breaking
just has
down.
like a real weird curriculum that like isn't really applicable. She's trying to run like a private school.
Well, maybe she's running a meow immersion school.
Oh, maybe.
Like, maybe...
That's a niche market you're trying to fill.
Yeah, Daniel Tiger could hypothetically go there because he's a cat. He
Yeah.
would be fluent in the meows, but he's a tiger, so he's more of a roar.
Yeah. Yeah, but man, you know, maybe if he wanted to get in touch with his heritage.
So Lady Aberlin shows up and comforts Henrietta, who is sad because Meow Bird hurt Meow feelings.
Yeah, Big Bird hurt her feelings. Which I feel like that may be the first time anybody has ever said that.
Ernie today tweeted about his new vlog with Bert, which is called Backyard with Ernie. But then Bert replied to him and said, "Ernie, I thought we agreed this was going to be called Backyard with Bert." And then I tweeted at Bert and I said, "Come on, Bert, just let him have this one thing."
Here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
Ernie and Bert don't have a backyard. They live in a brownstone walk-up.
I'll have to watch the vlog and see.
I guess, yeah. I guess you could have a backyard in a brownstone. The Cosbys had a backyard.
If they have a backyard, then why are they so into window gardening?
That's a good point. Yeah, because I think they live upstairs.
Because there's those Tweedlebugs or whatever that live in their window garden.
That's true.
They would have
That
been living in
is
their backyard
True.
if they had a backyard.
I mean, we should have done a Sesame Street podcast. We wouldn't have even need to watch the episodes.
Please, won't you open Sesame? It's
Can you tell me how to get to my podcast?
yeah. There you go.
So yeah, Henrietta is not consoled. She leaves crying.
Yeah.
Lady Elaine pops up. She's looking through a telescope and asks Lady Aberlin for all the dirt.
Why Henrietta's crying?
Yeah, she ponders, did the letter say Henrietta will never win at anything ever? Because
she's going to lose to.
yeah, because Lady Elaine is major projecting.
She wonders if maybe that Henrietta's sad because she's going to lose to Elaine. Everything this week is just about winning the art contest for Elaine.
Yeah.
And then when she finds out that it was actually a letter from Big Bird that made Henrietta sad, she's like, well, is she concerned that Big Bird is going to beat her in the contest? Because that's not going to happen. She doesn't have to worry about that because I'm going to beat her in the contest.
Yeah. And then she shows off her entry.
Yeah, she finally finished.
Yeah.
And it looks remarkably similar to Van Gogh's Plain of Vauvert.
Yeah, the painting we saw earlier.
And Lady Aberlin calls her out. And
Immediately identifies it as a Van Gogh, because it's not one of the big Van Goghs.
No, she's like, what? Lady Elaine, that looks exactly like Van Gogh's Plain of Vauvert.
Yeah.
Knew the title and everything.
I guess this is a favorite of hers.
I mean, or it's just because this world is spawned from Mr. Rogers' imagination, and Mr. Rogers just learned the title.
I mean, that's true. Because, like we said, he reads all the cards.
He does read all the plaques.
So yeah, Lady Elaine is straight up passing a print of a Van Gogh off as her own. But now I'm wondering, I mean, because this was the controversy when, and this is where it would be nice to know the name of anybody involved in this, where the guy took the piece of junk and signed his name and said, "This is art now."
I know that Salvador Dali famously took a postcard of the Mona Lisa and painted his mustache on it and called it his own.
Sort of a pop art thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I wonder if Lady Elaine has a claim to be made that maybe she's moving in this direction.
Well, she hasn't really remixed it in any way. The only real...
but perhaps the remix is in first of all, passing it off as a painting of the Land of Make-Believe.
Yeah, I was going to say. Her interpretation is the art here, not the painting itself.
Yeah, which, as the owner of a museum, I mean, her art really is curation.
She is a museum.
And
yeah, that's true.
This is, in fact, the art of curation.
Yeah, I suppose so.
By putting it in this contest.
All right. Well, as judge, we are allowing this Van Gogh into the make-believe art contest on the technicality.
This is because I think...
But it has to be judged not by the skill of the art, but by the art of curation.
Right. But, I mean, this is the problem, because I think it's not a... Like, we haven't seen any attempts at sculpture yet. Mm-hmm. I think this might be strictly like
I believe drawing contest. Not a curation contest.
Which disqualifies Lady Elaine. If there was a contest to be like put together a gallery show about the Land of Make-Believe, then first of all, I think Lady Elaine would have a very good shot at it. And second of all, I think it would be a very bold choice to take this Van Gogh painting, which has very little to do with the Land of Make-Believe at first blush, under that label.
Recontextualize.
Yeah.
That's the word that we ought to use in our pitch.
Yeah, recontextualize. But it sounds like Lady Elaine may have been talked out of passing a Van Gogh off as her own.
Maybe so. She's got other plans, though, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I think Harriet E. Cow saw all of this coming when she tried to warn
this was her real reason. She just knows Lady Elaine from way back. She's like, oh, Lady Elaine's going to be such a something or other.
As soon as you have a winner.
This
is why Harriet E. Cow is so against winning.
Yeah. Maybe that's her sister. That would be confusing.
Barbara E. Cow.
Yeah, right. I forgot Lady Elaine's sister was named Barbara. But Lady Elaine says someday I'll win all the gold.
And this is when we find out that Lady Elaine suspects that the prize, which still has not been announced for this art contest,
the surprise prize,
is all the gold in the world.
Yeah, could be, I suppose.
Maybe. What we do know is that King Friday is going to give us a hint if we return to the castle.
Well, let's return to the castle. We don't have a transition tune for that, so let's just walk.
Clip clop, clip clop. Here we are at the shop. I mean, the castle.
I really gotta get my hooves trimmed.
Well, here we are at the castle.
Here we are at the castle.
King Friday
is here. He's going to give us a hint about the surprise prize. First, he asks for a fanfare. Lady Elaine does a little, Lady Aberlin does a little curtsy at the fanfare.
King Friday takes as long as possible to get around.
It's a real long wind up for it.
A great big filibust.
And finally says
what he's about to say, which is regarding the clue to the prize of the contest
above
art,
the Brontosaurus by me and elk .ms.
I don't know what you're referencing.
There's a Monty Python sketch and Elk's theory of the Brontosaurus. Put it on the Tumblr.
Okay. The hint is it has many colors. Lady Elaine
says, "Great, gold has many colors: yellow gold,
white gold,
gold."
Yes.
Skips right over rose gold.
Yeah, pink gold.
Yeah. She figures gold comes in many colors, so it's got to be gold.
And Lady Aberlin's like, Lady Elaine, that doesn't mean that it's gold. It could be crayons. And King Friday's like, it's not crayons. But he doesn't say it's not all the gold in the world.
No, I'm not sure he even heard what Lady Elaine said, because he seems sort of unaware that she has got full-blown gold fever. Then I think Lady Aberlin mentions to King Friday that Big Bird is coming to town tomorrow.
And Lady Elaine is like, you know what? He's yellow, just like yellow gold.
Gold fever. Also, King Friday, nonplussed by the fact that Big Bird is coming.
King Friday probably has like celebrities like that at his castle for all sorts of functions.
I mean, not Big Bird, he wouldn't fit.
You could fit around back where the elves live.
I'm not sure he could. I feel like that's a bit of a squeeze.
Well, we'll find out next
for
week.
even ordinary-sized people. Do you think they'll bring the whole set, or this will have to be necktie Big Bird?
What do you mean?
When Big Bird goes on like locations and live stuff, he wears a tie,
Right.
so that he can see out.
Can he not normally see out of his costume?
No, usually he's got a monitor in there.
Oh. And so the tie is his...
So the tie is for like stage shows and stuff, where
Clever.
they can't have like a wireless radio in there. Not all the time though, because I don't remember him wearing the tie when he went to China and saw that scary Monkey King.
Right. So what do you think the prize is going to be? It has many colors. It's something that can be used by everyone.
Maybe it's like a rainbow. I could see him commissioning a rainbow somehow.
Corny has a rainbow machine.
Yeah,
maybe.
exactly. Maybe it's just like the painting.
Rainbow was my guess also. My money is also on Rainbow.
Well, rainbow was a real like last second guess by me, but I think it holds
But
up.
I mean, everyone can use it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only use it by looking at it and appreciating it.
Maybe it's the
but-
museum go round.
He's taking something that Lady Elaine already has.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
if it's a museum, maybe it's state property.
She did talk about her like private gallery before. Maybe the king is issuing an edict that the museum go round must be open to everyone.
I mean, the obvious end of this arc is Lady Elaine loses the art contest.
But gets to use the thing anyways.
Yeah, and feels happy. But what if the end to this arc is Lady Elaine wins the contest and the prize is her own museum go round?
That would be good.
That would be... I mean, it would... I don't know if it would be good, but it'd sure be an interesting twist on an old favorite.
It would be kind of mean for King Friday to be making someone else's possessions a prize.
Yeah.
But he could issue a law that all museum go-rounds are open to the public.
Yeah.
That is within his... I mean, it's all within his power, but I'd say that's within his jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So let's head on back to Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. And then probably straight out the door, because not a lot happens.
Not a whole lot. Lady Elaine's art comes up.
What about it?
I saved it. Mr. Rogers is sort of discussing the events of the Land
Oh,
of
hold on,
Makepeace.
wait. I don't think the transition music was finished yet.
Oh, wow.
Okay, it's done.
Okay, good. That was close. I almost lost a tongue out the window.
Right, with those guardrails.
Yep, exactly. That's what happens when you talk about the episode on the trolley.
Yep. You lose your tongue.
Mr. Rogers asks us, do you think Lady Elaine thought that... He shows the Van Gogh painting. Says,
Right.
do you think that Lady Elaine thought that this could be what the Land of Make-Believe looked like before any buildings?
No.
No,
She
Mr.
just-
Rogers. You are
she
giving
just
her too
wanted
much
to-
credit. She just thought that Van Gogh probably would win an art contest.
I mean, we gave her a lot of credit for
Yeah.
this painting earlier, but
I mean, yeah. We were
joking
going
aside,
for it.
no, she is just trying to cheat.
Yeah.
She is an art
Yeah.
thief.
Ironically, Van Gogh himself wouldn't have won many art contests in his day.
Oh, no.
No, that goes unsaid in this episode that Van Gogh was very, very depressed.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he was appreciated in his time, just not as widespread as, like, if he wasn't, we wouldn't have found his, like, we wouldn't have his art.
I guess
There were a select few who understood, and
but nobody was willing to let him drink for free on the back of it.
right.
He was not scribbling onto napkins and saying that should be worth about 50. Instead, he was cutting his own ear off and crying. I imagine he cried. He was depressed.
Everybody cries.
Yeah. Everybody hurts sometimes.
I reckon that was episode 1482.
Yeah, we done did it. Next week, Big Bird.
Yeah, on episode 1483. I can't wait.
I'm excited.
Our podcast will no doubt be even more rife with Sesame Street and Muppet trivia than this
Do you
one
think
was.
this is before or after Snuffleupagus became real? I mean, he was always real, but for a long time nobody knew.
We're in the
Big Bird.
80s, so
Probably he's real then by now.
be sure to check out our Tumblr. Please won't you be my.tumblr.com. We will have pictures of
as many of these paintings as we can track down, I guess.
I try to put more interesting things on there, but maybe I'll have like one big picture with a whole bunch of tiny pictures.
I mean, we spend a lot of time talking about all these paintings.
That's true. You'll probably want to be able to look at them.
You'll want to be able to look at cool rock and seals.
Mm-hmm.
Cool seals, neat rock.
Dang it,
way.
I'm going to have to do so much research.
So, I mean, I've got all the artists' names.
I'll just keep that.
All right.
Our theme song was provided by Dan Brisbane.
Dan Brisbane, the only person listening. That's not entirely true. Some other people we also know are listening. Maybe some people we don't know.
And our trolley transition tune was made by Rondale.
Probably not listening, but maybe. Wouldn't that be a coincidence?
Speak up, Rondale.
Yeah. Let your voice be heard, not just your trolley transition music.
We'll be back when the week is new.
And what'll we have? More ideas?
Yeah.
For you?
For anyone.
Cool.
Andrew, I know you'll have things that you'll want to talk about.
So many things.
I will too.
All right.
Maybe.
Well, you better.
Maybe I'll just make you do the whole thing.
Oh boy, will I have to do the edit still?
Yep.
Oh, no episode next week, guys.
Sorry, folks.
I'm lazy.
So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please, won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please, won't you be my podcast?
And Big Bird is even coming tomorrow.
He's yellow, just like yellow gold.
Yes, yes, Trolley. Yes, tomorrow then.